What's going on, everybody? This is Cam, and I'm back with What Cam's Rockin'. As you can see, this is a car vlog. A little bit late in the week. It's been a week filled with things on my mind, so I haven't really been able to focus in on a thing to talk about. So it's just kind of going to be a bit of a stream of consciousness. I'm going to try and focus it in, but put it into a direction. But it's been a frustrating week at work, both jobs. I think sort of what's been on my mind this week is signs and temperatures. So following signs, I've been wondering what to do, what's next for me. I feel like I need to make a change. When you're working out, you got to change up the workout to get different responses from your body. You adapt and you kind of stagnate after a while, and that needs to be in more parts of my life. It's hard to find different workouts and stuff to do, but you can do it. So I need to find different ways to keep myself and my mind constantly growing and changing. So I'm just kind of looking to make a change and see what's next for me. So that's kind of, I've been trying to let some signs tell me what direction to go. Do I want to stay and try and change the way I am in a certain place, in the same place, or do I want to kind of try to start fresh, doing something completely different altogether? And that kind of is leading me to temperatures, and that is more like the temperature of the room, or just there are certain people at certain places, just anywhere, like on a team, if you play sports, at work, in your office or department or whatever. And if certain people have certain personalities that can affect the entire work area for better or for worse. So, just if you can look on your schedule, or, say if this person is here, it's going to be a good day, or if this person is here, it's not going to be a good day. If this group of people is here, it's going to be like this, or this group of people is here, it's going to be like that. So, I look and I see certain people that if they're there, I know it's not going to be a good situation. And I don't want to be that. You know what I mean? I'm more successful at one of my jobs than I am at the other one. I'm not going to say I'm good or bad, but I feel like I have more confidence, and I just feel more professional in one of my jobs and competent than I do in the other one. And it's not to say that I'm better at one or the other, but I just feel like I have more experience and just a lot more behind it to kind of build me up. But I don't want to be a person that you look at and say, oh, if Cameron's there, it's not going to be good, or things are going to be worse. So how can I stop that from happening? And I'm not saying that it does. I hope it doesn't, but I don't want to get to that point where I'm apathetic or not giving my all because it's not something that I'm enjoying, or I don't feel like there's a return on it. So that's kind of where I'm at this week. That's what I'm feeling like. I feel like I'm just running around in circles and being vague to protect the innocent or the guilty, as it may be. But I just want to focus right now on letting the signs point me in the direction that I'm supposed to go, and being a good element for the temperature of the room or my work environment. Another thing that happened today, in fact, was that a couple weeks ago, like I said, a basket smashed into my car at work, and put a big old dent in it. And it was actually like 2 dents. So there was like one really big dimple, and then around it was like another kind of pressure dent. And I got to work a little bit early today. I had to go to the doctor to take an x-ray on my shoulder because I have a sports medicine appointment on Monday. And my shoulder's been hurt for about 6 years, pretty much since I start working out. I hurt it like right when I was peaking and apexing as far as my weight loss and my strength. I did something to my shoulder, and like that was the first time I went to the hospital since I had to get my own insurance, my own health insurance. I think I was 25, 26 at the time, and I basically haven't been since I went to the emergency room for my shoulder. And they kind of took x-rays, they gave me some therapy to do, and I got my shoulder back to where it was as far as my strength. But every day my shoulder is either in a state of hurting or numbness. It never feels good. It either hurts or I feel like it's not even there. So I'm trying to now, address that and get that fixed. So we'll see what comes of that. But I took my x-ray this morning and got to work about half an hour early. And I was just sitting in the parking lot listening to some draft analysis for the NFL draft, which is a whole nother story. My friend and I did we did a video about an hour and a half long on the whole first round. We went through our picks, gave analysis on it and why, and it only recorded 10 seconds of it. So we don't have that anywhere but in our own minds. And I'm sorry to all of you that don't get to enjoy that and laugh at our foolishness. But hopefully we'll get together and do some stuff concerning the draft, and going forward we'll make sure that doesn't happen again. But this guy drove up, and in the parking lot of the Costco that I work at, there's a lot of different businesses, and one of the businesses isn't very busy, so their parking lot is open a lot. And a lot of times they'll have like dent repair and window fixing and stuff like that. And the guy who must have been doing dent repair, he sort of drove by and was like, "Oh, I noticed that dent on your car. Let me see what I can do for you. I work for Dent Pro, and I can fix that." And so I'm thinking, wow, that's crazy, because I have on one of my tabs on my phone for the internet the number for Dent Pro, because I wanted to check them out, or send them a picture, try and get an estimate and quote. So I was like, all right, cool. And so he's like, yeah, let me show you my work, and if you like it, you can pay me. If not, don't pay me. I was like, all right. So he's like, yeah, I'll do it. Usually that would cost about $150 to get that fixed. It's like, but my son's birthday's coming up and I'm a little bit short, so I'll do it for you for $60. I was like, all right. So he takes out his tools, boom, boom, boom. And he's like, yeah, this big dimple here is that's gonna be the way it is. I can't fix that. But the other dent on it, I can smooth it out and make it all smooth except for that one little dimple. I was like, all right, see what you can do. So he's like, he did his thing, took about 5 minutes, and he's like, oh, well, I noticed that your bumper is kind of messed up. And I was like, yeah, I had my tire blew out, and the rubber hit the bumper and stripped it from the screw. So it's in the screw and it just ripped it away. So it's still screwed, but where the screw holds in is just completely ripped off. So he's like, oh, I can put a little ring there, a thread ring there, and make it stay in place. And then it's a little bit discolored at the bottom from where the rubber hit against the wheel well. I was like, all right. So he's like, yeah, I'll do it all for you for $100. I was like, man, I don't got $100 on me. I can't do that. So maybe you just leave it alone. He's like, all right, how about 80, man? I really need to get it for my son's birthday. So I was like, all right, cool. Let's see what you can do. He's like, I'm gonna go in there and get $80. See, and he's like, yeah, if you don't like it, then don't pay me for that part. I was like, all right. So I got 80, came back out. It looks like nothing ever happened. It is perfect on the side. Only thing there is just a tiny little pucker right underneath the rear lights, but it looks 1,000 times better than it did. So it was like an angel came down to me and just sort of blessed me. And so I don't know what that's a sign of, but I like to think it's just that I try and live my life the best way that I can in terms of treating people properly. And maybe that's why I'm not so successful at a lot of my work, is because a lot of my work is asking people for money, and that's super hard for me, because I know I've been there when money has been tight and you hardly have enough to just get what you need, let alone what you want. So it's hard for me to say, hey, why don't you apply for this credit card that might put you in debt if you don't act right when you're 20 years old? Hey, why don't you pay me hundreds of dollars for this thing that you might do one time, and then after we're done, you don't keep up with it. Which, of course, that's not necessarily on me, but I see all of that in my request. So it's hard for me to say, put some money out for this thing that I'm offering. So I hope it was just, the Lord looking out for me and kind of throwing a bone to the boy over here. So that's kind of my good thing. I hope that everybody out there is living their life to the best of their abilities, and to the best of your ability might be different than the best of my ability. You just got to do according to you. You have to live your life by your standard. You know what I mean? You got to be able to get up and look at yourself in the mirror. And I do what I have to and what I can to make sure that I'm able to do that. So yeah, I think that's pretty much where I'm gonna leave it today. If there's any questions, any requests, any comments, please don't hesitate to let me know. You can get me on here in the comments. Email camrock34@comcast.net. On Instagram, CameronR34. Yep, have a good one, and thanks for rocking with me.